Hey, Nick.
Hey, Chase.
It's that time again.
What time is it?
Time for
Fuck This Place!
Yeah, if you're painting, you're a dude, you know? You're 100% a dude.
Yeah. I was just tightening some like handles on like cabinet doors and stuff.
Ooh, that's good.
In my place. And there's just one that was loose. And I was like, well, let me just get a screwdriver and screw this up. And I just felt like such a man that I just started tightening all of them. I was just going around like, what else can I just screw around with this thing? What else I got here that's maybe loose? Maybe I can loosen and then tighten.
Yeah, when I'm with my in-laws right now, and they are.
Oh boy.
I got some stories for you, but yeah, they can't bend and stuff, you know, and so yeah, you just like lean over and screw something in. You're just like you do start looking around, like I think I'm the king. I'm the king of fixing.
You immediately start like eyeing the trees outside, like treehouse, maybe I'll build one. Maybe I'll
I'll disappoint some kids by promising them a treehouse for years and then
2 stories, Little Rascal style.
Oh wow,
intricate.
I've always wanted to, and we are going to introduce the podcast soon, I promise. But I have always wanted to buy one of those. You ever go to you go to Home Depot and there's all those like sheds and they like really escalate in how awesome they are, like in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Like the one on the far left is like the shed. It's a shed, is what it is. But then if you look at there's like basically like a 2-bedroom house at the far end. I've always wanted one of those.
In the parking lot.
I've always wanted one in a parking lot. Yeah, we should intro the podcast. Welcome to Fuck This Place, the podcast about jobs with Chase and Nick. My name is Chase.
My name is Nick, and with us today is a stand-up comic. You can find him on his wildly successful TikTok. It's a hilarious channel called Palmer Trolls. With us today, Ben Palmer. How's it going, Ben?
Hey, good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Just clocked out. No.
Oh, did you? You just
Home
make a
Depot.
video?
Home Depot. I was pushing carts in the parking lot.
Oh, right. Oh man, I'm so envious of you. Just looking at those sheds.
Dude, I was on your channel earlier, Ben, and I watched that Joel Osteen video, and I laughed so hard at that. So
good.
Funny.
That's good. Thanks.
That and the Herbalife one that like caught me off guard. So good. That punchline at the end with the Herbalife one. Oh, dude, so funny.
That was from yesterday. So you're caught up.
Yeah, I'm all caught up.
Yeah, moving on to multi-level marketing companies, trying to get some responses from some executives that work for those companies.
And it's happening.
Yeah, I was surprised that guy responded.
You'd be surprised how little those people do. You know, I mean, they do. I'm sure they do a lot sometimes, but
yeah,
they got time for your email.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's a lot of like just rattling, tapping on their desks though too. You know, just
or just
waiting for something to come in.
People,
you know, yeah, just waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, I just changed. So I just bought a domain to make me look like I'm with the press. I've kept Googling like, is it illegal to impersonate the press? I haven't seen it. There's like someone who posed as a New York Times reporter, but they would like go physically to like press conferences.
Right.
I'm just emailing people and like leaving a signature. So I figured I just make up a newspaper as a signature. Maybe that'll give them a higher chance of responding. And then I was like, oh, I need to stop emailing them from a Gmail account. So I got a domain now that looks like
that it's like the Boston, not the Boston, but like the Asheville Herald or something.
Yeah, well, it's called the Coloradoan Times because there's a Coloradoan, but there's no Coloradoan Times. So
Yeah.
I'm not stealing anybody's thing.
I think there's a difference between impersonating a real newspaper and a real person at a newspaper from impersonating the idea of a newspaper, which I'm sure like, you know, in Copland, you can't impersonate any idea of a cop, but it might be, there might be some wiggle room there. I'm not a lawyer, but it feels good.
I feel like I would be ultra tempted to be like an old timey news guy if I was impersonating someone from the. I'd be like, I'm here to talk to the mayor.
Listen, son.
A very tiny mustache,
pencil and pad.
Yeah, and we'll obviously get to the great many things that Ben does on the internet. But just so you don't know, like you could stop listening to this podcast if you want and go to at Palmer Trolls on basically any platform. And I'm not saying you'd have a better time than this podcast, but you would definitely have a really good time for a while.
Yeah.
And then come back, you know, if you want.
Check up on us.
Yeah, and the link again. We'll do the plug at the very end, but the link will be in the show notes to all that stuff too. So, Ben, the first segment that we typically do on every podcast is actually a segment we call "Fuck This Place?" where we decide if we would work somewhere or not. And so we've actually looked up some Craigslist posts from Cleveland, Ohio area, which you are from Cleveland or like Cleveland area.
Yeah, Cleveland area. Yep.
Yeah, not Cleveland though. Is that
close
true?
enough to be like I root for all the Cleveland sports teams, and for people who don't know any other place closer to Cleveland, I say I'm from Cleveland, so
For sure.
they have a reference.
But for the people who do know, where are like if there's someone's from Ohio,
Akron or
oh yeah, well I lived in Akron. I went to the University of Akron for like a year. Lived in Akron, lived in Lakewood, lived in Northfield Center, Bainbridge, Auburn.
Oh, you're all over,
man. Shout out to
Yeah,
Auburn.
we moved a lot. That's why it's confusing to try to explain it. And then Middlefield, Ohio, which is Amish country outside of Cleveland.
Oh,
nice.
baby.
Yeah.
They're missing out on the Browns this year. The Amish.
The
I know.
Amish.
Oh man,
Are the Browns doing well?
They're doing very well.
Oh, that's great for
Well,
them.
And then now their head coach has COVID, so now he's not going to make the game. So it's probably
okay.
it's probably
All right,
over.
all right.
It's
Okay.
over.
Okay.
So just dissolving into a puddle once again. I do know enough about sports to know the Cleveland Browns are god fucking awful.
Yeah.
Typically. So yeah, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna read 3 Craigslist posts, the title of them. You're gonna pick the one you don't want to look at, and then we'll look at the other 2, and we'll decide if we would fuck this place or we would work there. Just like you're browsing Craigslist. So the title for the first one is straight, and I should say it's STR8 as in skater boy, but it's STR8.
Straighter boy.
Yeah, straighter boy. Straight, muscular, nude handyman wanted. That's number 1. Number 2 is join our cuddle team. Very important that there are emojis of the little person with the hands on either side of their face on either side of join our cuddle team. And then the last one is pick up litter in our community, 20 an hour. So which one, Ben, do you not want to click on? Straight, muscular, nude handyman, join our cuddle team, or pick up litter?
I'll pass on the handyman. I feel like
fair.
the cuddle team has some intrigue to it. Might not be sexual, and of course, cleaning up litter in the neighborhood is an honorable, maybe kind of fun job actually.
I think you're right.
Okay.
I think you're right. Okay, so let's take a look.
I probably wouldn't have been buff enough for that job, anyways.
Buff
Yeah.
enough for picking up litter or
No,
handyman?
for the straight
Yeah, that makes
buff man.
sense.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
so let's take a quick look here at the first post, which is join our cuddle team. And in Cleveland, and again, if you don't see this, if you want to watch this on YouTube, you just search FCK this place on YouTube. But the text has, I didn't know this was the hug emoji until recently, but it is the hug emoji, and I think it's the blushed face with like the 2 little handsies.
Tiny hands, very tiny hands.
I really like this emoji. I like to say something mean and then do this, but join our cuddle team is fine too.
What do you think the rest of that emoji's body's like?
I think
Because
one hip is to the side.
one hip is to the side. Okay.
On a couch.
Yeah. Oh, on a couch. I was gonna say that they're just sort of like they're like, hey, it's what I mean. Like it's,
okay.
There's a body lilt. I'm just like, it's me
Do you think-
again.
I thought he was laying down but forward, like he was just
sort of like-
rest, like his whole body's behind his giant head.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Either way, they want you to join their cuddle team. And the ad begins, no picture, and it says, we are looking for additional professional cuddlers in Cleveland. No period. We are a reputable professional cuddle therapy service, which before we move on, didn't know that existed. I knew that I would see, I feel like I would see on on social media, there would be like one of those, like I feel like now this made that style of video popular. Like, did you know that you could be a people walker, or whatever? I feel like I would see stuff like that, but never actually did I believe that someone would say the words reputable.
Like
therapy.
Like someone's interested and they're like, but I don't want to get scammed. Like, I don't want it to. Then it's not a good cuddle. There's no cuddle at all. I'm just.
There's nothing that says reputable more than posted 16 days ago on Craigslist.
You are 100% correct. We are cutting them off at the knees already. Okay, so the ad continues and it says, just a few of the benefits to working at It's Just Cuddles, which, what a name.
Yeah.
We'll
feel
get
like-
back to that. I
yeah.
think.
They had to like lay down the law in the title. They're like,
Yeah.
100%.
Uh-huh.
Like, we have boundaries.
Uh-huh.
We don't have a lot of them, but we do have one.
And it's a thing they've said to their employees too. Like this has definitely gone both ways on that rule.
Yeah, just so everyone is clear.
It's just cuddles. All right. Tired of
Mark.
everyone asking.
Okay, and then there's a list with asterisks. It says established. Oh, they're saying it again. Established reputable company with safety policies and screening to support our cuddle team. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to get through the list. Exclusivity to your city builds business and quality clientele fast. And then there's like a weird, like ace of spades emoji or something. It's like a weird heart with a dot under it. And then it says competitive pay of $65 an hour.
Whoa.
Plus gratuities. And then it says enjoy the mutual benefits of our therapeutic cuddling services. And the last sentence says, please send email with name and number and photos if you're interested in this unique and lucrative opportunity. And compensation box does reiterate $65 per hour. That is the post.
that's good pay.
That
That's
is good
great pay.
Could you lay down holding a stranger for more than 1 hour straight, you think?
That's a good question. That's a good question. If there's ever even an hour that you do,
I'd have to take ecstasy or Molly, and then maybe.
sure,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Well, then that's not just cuddles, Ben. That's just
that's
banned substances.
Cuddles and ecstasy. That was the original name of this, but it got real weird real fast.
That's what happened. People started showing up on ecstasy.
I do appreciate again that they have really tried as hard as possible to point out that they are both reputable and professional. They are established and reputable with safety policies, but they do not in any way mention the ongoing pandemic that is sweeping the nation.
Posted 16 days ago.
It's not like this is from
not months.
This isn't from like the optimist September, where it was like, well, maybe it's going to be a little better for a while. This is posted in the dead of winter in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Where everyone's inside.
Is there any reason why on the map they're located right next to a cemetery?
It does say they're next to. It does say they're next to Lakeview Cemetery. That's correct, but it's a radius thing.
It's not in the center of the circle, but it's kind of a close drive.
If this is a Venn diagram, the circle does cross Lakeview Cemetery's property line for sure.
So you might be cuddling with someone there. You don't know.
That's true. Or you might.
Do you think you have to go off-site cuddles, or is it just here?
You got to meet at the cemetery
in this one circle. I would think that, again, let's just talk for a minute pre-COVID here. I would think this is a house call deal, that like you make an appointment on an app or something. Again, like I do remember seeing the people walker thing and being like, okay, I could see how someone who's like, I'm just real lonely, we can do a walk. But it just seems like cuddle team seems like a bad situation, like it seems like it's never going to be just cuddles. Like it seems very difficult to be just cuddles to me.
Do you think do you then go like if you're like, let's say you're like a lady and you're like, I want a really tall guy to cuddle. Like, is there like category, like where it's like, I need like a medium-sized lady I want to cuddle with or whatever, like,
sure. I would
do you think you have a catalog?
I would hope so, because I mean, again, there are actual physical requirements for, like what if you're very tall and you're like, I don't want a very short person to cuddle me. We're only going to cover, at best case scenario, like 65% of my body.
Yeah.
And I want to be the little spoon.
They send over like a really old guy and you're like, this isn't what I asked for. Like it just,
yeah. But $65 an hour, let's not forget that. That's a high number.
It's not nothing.
It's not nothing at all. But the question really is, again, we're talking pre-COVID because we'll talk post-COVID in a minute. Pre-COVID, let's say you have, how many clients do you really get on this thing? Because the other thing, it says exclusivity to your city builds business and quality clientele fast. I'm not so sure that this is a Cleveland-based business. I think this could be, I don't know.
I think
like
they're trying
app.
to get someone else to start a cuddle business in Cleveland.
Yeah, they want you to join your cuddle team But
You
really,
gotta
you
start,
don't want
yeah.
to start
Yeah.
a cuddle team.
You're not. You are the cuddle team.
Mm.
So Ben, you're from kind of all over that area. What would you say is the demand for cuddling?
Mm.
When I was there was a high demand.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
everyone
Uh-huh.
could use just a little cuddle.
A little bit of a cuddle. Okay, I get it.
with the morale of the city, with gray skies, little sunshine, lots of lake effect snow, minimal industry, poor sports team results. The cuddle demand is absolutely skyrocketing.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but obviously the supply can't keep up because
Yeah.
they are hiring.
True. By the way, what are the gratuities?
I would guess that again, this is like the tour guiding business in that they're like, we have a base pay and you're probably going to get tipped. But again, where do you think the tips come from? I don't think the tips come from just cuddles.
Well,
I think
yeah.
they're more than
I
that.
mean, I think maybe once in a while, maybe get a little 20 slipped into your back pocket right on your butt there during that cuddle. A little something. There might be something.
if you're,
but I suppose,
if you're the little spoon.
yeah.
If you're
Oh,
a light breather or a heavy
Like,
breather.
typically, I would say that like there's a chance that this is just like a veiled sex post. But that being said, why bother calling it a cuddle team?
Yeah.
Why, you know what I mean? Like this isn't like if this is a person who wanted a quote unquote cuddle, they would just post it. We see it all the time. They would be like, I want a cuddle, and then they give you the little emoji thing. It's like, okay, we know. I think this is a real thing.
Yeah,
You
it
think
is. I've read about it.
Oh, you have?
But I don't know if this is a legitimate cuddle business, but I know cuddling is a
For
thing.
sure.
Now
Seems
it's
like a real
definitely more
2019
reputable.
thing, you know.
It seems what?
It seems like a real 2019 thing, you know.
Yeah.
You know, like everybody's safe, the economy's doing well. Let's pay for cuddles, you know.
Yeah.
I've seen those giant pillows that are shaped like half a man, that people will
Yeah.
cuddle with. I've seen that, but I've never heard of live action cuddling,
Yeah. It's
actual other breathing, possibly bad breath having
yeah.
cuddler,
Yeah.
Warm breath down your spine, just tingling.
Stranger
man.
breath. Stranger
Accidentally
danger breath.
falls asleep. They got a real loud snorer in your ear. I think there's a lot that could go wrong.
Yeah, but then think about it. I don't think that here to me is the catch with that $65 an hour. I don't think a job is an hour. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't think that it's probably 30 minutes, because like I don't know if anyone in this circle has cuddled recently, but it gets kind of hot. It gets kind of warm.
Yeah.
Even in the dead of winter, like you can only cuddle for probably like full on spooning action. I'm going to give it like 10 minutes, absolute max.
Wait,
Before
so then-
both people overheat.
Then
then
arms
what
start
do you-
falling asleep.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Great point. Yeah. So then what do you think is going on the other 54 minutes?
Well, I don't think that. See, what I'm saying is, I think that there's a little tricksy here. They're saying, well, it's $65 an hour, but most of your gigs are only 25 minutes, so you're not getting $65 per house call. You're getting 30 something.
Oh,
Is my guess. You know what I mean? Like,
Uh-huh.
it didn't say $65 per cuddle. It said 65 an hour. So I just think that like there's probably a little bit of a catch because 65 an hour that's a bonkers amount of money for an hourly job that you can get on Craigslist.
Well,
That's a lot.
I'm out because if I have to drive to your crummy place and then you kick me out after like 15 minutes or whatever, I want my $65.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So-
there might be some clock disputes.
Yeah,
a lot of small talk up front.
I showed up in pajama pants. Come on now.
We played video games for 15 minutes afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still in the house.
Yeah.
I am going to say fuck this place because again, COVID, these people have no interest whatsoever apparently in your safety. Like they literally could have just said like, we have protocols in place. What are those protocols? Impossible to say. But if they had said it, I would have been a little bit more inclined to say like, okay, I would send an email with name and number and photos and see what happens.
In their defense, lightly, I will say that if you are willing to pay this much to have a stranger come cuddle you, you're probably ready to die.
Yes.
Right? So
Yeah.
Well, maybe they're like, I don't give a fuck about. Give me COVID. Just give me anything, please.
Yeah.
Here's a question: did they get the PPP loan?
Oh yeah, maybe they're just trying to. Yeah, maybe they're just trying to disperse some of that. Now that would be that would be a good thing to find out in an interview. Because
it leaks that the cuddlers.
No, I'm just saying, like, if the company exists and they got a PPE, I said PPE.
If they got a PP, yeah.
Either one.
If they got a PP, and then they're just like, we just need employees so that we can dole out this cash so we can keep the majority of this loan. Now that's a great situation because then you're not even doing any cuddling.
Just kicking the door, like, where's your PP?
I'm still gonna say no, but Ben. You,
I'm gonna pass on it.
Yeah.
Fuck this place.
Yeah. Fuck that place. Okay. Job number two, title is pick up litter in our community, 20 an hour, a more reasonable rate, wage, I would say. And then just a couple sentences here. It says, we need someone to do quote unquote litter patrol in our apartment community. Banbury Court is the name of the community, I assume. 5 days a week, 3 hours a day, 20 an hour. ... You must be able to work on the books, ... If the ad is running, we are hiring. Boom, that's the post. And the compensation, $20 an hour. Employment type, part-time.
This is right down the street. It's actually on the same street as my old high school.
No way.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Miles
Road here.
Is there a lot of poop on that street?
I don't think so.
You say, for litter patrol.
This could have been a good job back in the day. After
could have been a great job especially for like a high schooler. I mean, not to say that they're going to high school right now, because again, pandemic.
What's that mean? You must be able to work on the books.
Yeah, I was wondering that same thing. Like they're like, no, I only pick up litter off books. Like I think a renegade litter picker upper.
I think what they mean is they don't want to pay you cash. Like that, at the minimum, this is gonna be a 1099 situation where they're like, we are giving you $20 an hour, but it has to go, like we can't just send you, we can't give you cash. So maybe that's one of the reasons that they're posting, because it seems to me like it would not be hard to find somebody to be like, hey, pick up. It's $20 an hour. How much trash are we talking? It can't be. This is litter patrol. This isn't trash duty. Yeah. This isn't like. This isn't like be our garbage guy. This is like
like you have slow days.
This could be basically just picking up Miller Lights out of the bushes. Is my hope.
Yeah.
One title on the Craigslist.
Just picking up Miller Lights out of the bushes, 20 an hour.
Occasional bag of Doritos.
We're a reputable company, professional, capital P.
I mean, this seems like a little legit. The only bummer really is that it's only 3 hours a day, but that's like $60, $60 a day.
15 hours a week times 20. So we don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, I'm staying the hell away from that.
I'll do the math.
No, it's paying something.
Yeah.
There is an amount.
We can agree. It's paying something.
Anywhere from $0 to maybe $200.
That's $300 a week, and like $1,200 a month. So it's not nothing. It's not nothing.
Yeah.
But
if you can swing by on your way to your other job back from, if it's nearby you, it's a good job.
Right. Especially if you could make your hours on this one. Because it's like if they want you there in the afternoon or whatever, you know what I mean? But if it's like, I 3 hours a day though, that's an important 3 hours of picking up litter patrol. How big is this apartment community? I'm not saying I would definitely want $60. You know what I'm saying? What if I finish it in 2? Anyway.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, I feel like it's a little bit of like a who watches the Watchmen situation as well. Like it's like, how do they know you're picking up litter? Is there a litter picker upper like guy that follows that guy? Or is it? Can you get narked out by people in the community?
Oh, I guarantee you they'll narc you out. The name of it is Banbury Court. Yeah, they're narking people out.
Yeah, Banbury Court is full of narcs. Like it might as well be on the application.
They're definitely going to tell on you. That's
must be cool with narcs.
They probably have a high turnover. The last guy probably got fired, and that's why there's an ad on Craigslist.
Yeah.
Although, this doesn't have some of the typical
Oh,
baggage that you got fired. Like they would, like, for instance, if someone got fired recently, there would be a very specific grievance in here that's like must show up on time.
well, no, that's what it's. You must be able to work on the books.
Oh, that's what
fired.
Uh-huh.
He was off the books.
Yeah, it was because they had a cash guy and they were like, "Can you work on the books?" And he was like, "No, it's $20 an hour for 3 hours a day." Again, I think the way, I would like to think that the way, and this is not the way, but I would like to think that the way that they check up on you is essentially they just don't see any litter. Right? Like, they just don't see it.
Do you think there's like one guy he's just like, oh, I think the new guy's good, and then the other guy's like, oh yeah, and he like reaches into a bush and pulls out like a Chinese food box.
I was thinking about he would
like, this is your hero, throws it at him
into the grass, and he would find those corners that come off of like a Laffy Taffy or like a Cliff Bar. That's the shit that you're picking up. Like once you get, because I would think you get good. Like if I'm the guy and I do it 3 hours a day for the first 5 days for sure, but after that 3 hours, it seems to me like you're in maintenance mode, like how much,
you're all Minority Report about it. Like you see things like before you've seen it, the garbage before it happens.
Yeah. I just don't think, like, what is this, like what were you saying, Ben?
Eventually they're going to cut your hours when you don't have any litter to pick up for
that's what I'm saying.
Amount of hours. Yeah,
like
so you got to bring your own litter.
Yeah, you just show up. What you do is you're picking up Miller Lights, right, and you're putting them into this trash bag, and then you round the corner and you're just taking them out.
Yeah.
Just like setting down in like really easy places to reach, so you don't have to like bend over again.
Yeah, shuffle. You have to create the need, right? So you always got to leave, like you said, just leave maybe one can out at the end of the day.
Just like dropping little like little the cellophane wrapper that goes around like a box of cigarettes, like just those little little tidbits. Or the other thing that could be worse here though is that this is actually 3 hours worth of cleaning up trash, and it's just like there's just so many nooks and fucking crannies that it's just, or Banbury Court full of narcs for sure, but it's also full, like every weekend they just fucking trash the place. They're just like they're just like hucking their trash just onto the lawn instead of putting it in the dumpster.
Yeah. A weekly purge, but for garbage.
Yeah.
Every
just
time
spaghetti on the floor.
Every time you show up, you hear someone yell, "Hey, the litter patrol's here!"
Yeah, and they're just dumping.
Just empty milk cartons right at you.
So
we need
or like half full.
Use.
Yeah.
I like the idea though that you are bringing your own litter and then you're using that to like get other people hired. Like you're like, I need backup, and my buddy Mike is got nothing going on.
He's the best litter guy around, and he loves the books.
Oh yeah.
We got to bring in Mike.
There's a system.
He's got a foolproof system. We'll be spared from trash forever. You won't even hit the ground. So I mean, I would be curious about this. I cannot say fuck this place right away. I do think that there's something wrong. You have to, or you just have to talk to some lady named Tina who's just gonna be mean, about everything. But again, in a certain circumstance, this is not be a bad thing. The bummer really though is if they want you to do it at a specific time, because if they don't want you to do it at a specific time, and you can say, well, just whatever 5 days and whatever time, then like you could have another job, and that other job would be, but like if they're like, oh, it's got to be from 11 to 3 or something like that, or 11 to 2, then that would ruin your prospects at other employment, which would be shit.
Yeah, I'm with you, Chase. I just think if there was like we were talking about high school earlier. So, if it was something you could do then, I might have taken the job. I might have done it. Now, I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot of, we painted that scenario, and now in my head, I'm like, man, do I become corrupt? Am I bringing all the litter in myself, So like I
litter scheme.
Yeah. Is this a villain origin story waiting to happen? No, I'm out.
Yeah, that's a good point. Ben?
I think there's definitely I think it's a legit job. There's some concerns about the hours, and then long term, like I feel like this is one of those places that's going to be like, we're done with you, you can go home now, and then there goes your job. So you can't really invest too much in it. It kind of has to be a perfect fit, like you said. You can't drop another job for this. It's got to be something that squeezes into your schedule. And yeah, something tells me they're not going to be cool with you picking up litter at their place from the hours of 2 a.m. to 5 a.m.
Yeah.
I'll be outside your windows in the bushes at 3 a.m. If that's cool with everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
If it's like an indoor building, overnight makes sense for janitorial work. But yeah, I mean, I like the job. It seems like an easy gig. It's not like disgusting, hopefully not too disgusting. So I mean,
Yeah,
I
you're
like
not
it.
like
What's the opposite of fuck this place?
it's like I'll consider it.
I'll consider
I
it.
hope to see you soon. What's up, everybody?
What's going on, guys?
Wanted to remind you that you can text the podcast anytime you want.
Night or day, whenever the hell you want.
It's fine. It's the number is 470 bad jobs. The actual numbers are 470-223-5627. That's the number.
So yeah, anytime you want. Like I said, middle of the night, whenever. We don't got jobs right now. Whatever's going on with you is going on with us.
I mean, absolutely. Maybe you still have a job and it's like shitty. You can tell us about that. Maybe you don't have a job and it was shitty before.
Maybe you're getting one of those weird temperature forehead checks right now.
For sure.
You want to pull out your phone and just say, you know what, fuck you guys. I'm going to text 470 bad jobs.
470-223-5627 is the number. That is the number. And you can also call us if you want, but I mean, whatever. It's your choice. That's the point here.
So Ben, what's the first job you ever had?
The first job I ever had, I was 14 years old and I was a golf caddy.
Oh shit,
man, growing popular answer here.
Yeah.
Oh, we've had golf caddies.
Kyle Kinane, we had him a couple episodes ago. He was a golf caddy. Sam Lindsay, big shout out. He was that his first job? Yeah, it was his first job.
I think so.
Yeah,
might also
now
be his favorite.
He golfs a lot. That's interesting.
He golfs a lot.
He does golf a lot.
Well, now I have an icebreaker with Kyle Kinane if I ever run across him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Golf, my guy.
Was he any good?
No, he hated it.
No.
Yeah.
Did you?
Was not good.
We're not good either.
Also not the best. My friend and I got the job together. We're both 14, and they have the caddy shack, and the caddy shack, you show up at super early in the morning, and the best caddies always leave the caddy shack first. The best golfers get the best caddies because they can read the green and not fuck up. And me and my friend, we always were the last ones taken, so we would be there for like 3 hours before we got chosen.
Oh my god!
And we get matched up with people that were like some of the worst golfers that would come. And sometimes that was good, but other time it was good and bad. Like I had somebody like making me dig in rivers for their golf balls with a little golf. It's like a long pole with like a circle at the end of it that like scoops the ball.
Yeah.
And then very low tip for like just doing everything for them. I had one guy. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, would they be like, you suck, and they'd be like, you suck, like because it's not like, it's one thing if it's a really good golfer that has you and he's like frustrated with you, but if they also suck, isn't there a little bit like, maybe I'm a little disappointed in your golf game? Maybe I'd be a better caddy if you didn't have to fishing it out of the sand all the time.
Right. If I was older and a little wiser, I probably would have had an attitude, but I was like 14 and terrified. So like, even if they did suck, I was always very scared of them. And like, I could tell they would get annoyed with me over stuff, and like one time some of their bags, I would hate when they didn't have the little stand, like a little tripod on the bag. So you can just set it down.
Right.
And then like go walk and do something. Well, they have ones that don't have it, so then you got to stand there with the bag and then or lay it down. But every now and then you keep it stood, and then you like go to grab the tee, and then the bag falls, and then they're like, "What the hell is that?" Super uncomfortable. And then you have to. Oh, you can't walk in the line either because they'll. What line? There's a line when you're on the green. If they're putting and you walk in front of the ball before they putt, like not like right before they putt, anytime before they putt, you're
Uh-huh.
stepping in their line. So that could affect how the ball goes into the hole.
Oh, because
Into the
it's
cup, I
affecting the
should say.
grass.
your actual foot
Yeah.
imprint. Yeah.
Yeah, your foot imprint fucks up the line. So
Uh-huh.
don't walk in the line. And then
Uh-huh.
there's like 4 golfers every time. So you're like, oh shit, how do I even get to the tee? I got to walk in one of these people's lines.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that would happen. And then when you're holding the flag, you can't let your shadow go over the hole. So then you got to stand on whatever side the
Wait.
shadows.
Shadow control. Gotta have it.
You gotta have good
Move
shadow
your
control.
fucking shadow.
It's a valid complaint. Like, dude, I can't see a fucking thing. The hole is black and your shadow is black. Get the fuck out of here.
Also, it seems like such a rich request of just like, I need you to change the properties of the sun.
Right. It's always super privileged requests. Like, your shadow is blocking me. Like, go fuck yourself. But
Yeah.
they're your tips. So you have to
Yeah,
kiss their ass.
And
until
you're
the very
only
end.
on tips. Is that correct? It's like,
It's a very low pay from the Caddyshack.
you get like a day rate or something. Or
Yeah,
just
I
for
don't
showing
remember
up?
I remember I would be there all day and come home with like $40 after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was not lucrative as a golf caddy. But if you're good and you can read the greens, which is like telling them, hey, there's a hair going this way, you might want to go that way. So the ball bumps that way and help them putt, then you make good tips from those people. But yeah, like I said, I would always get the worst golfers that they had because I was 14, and there was only one day where I truly enjoyed it. It was a guy who was like some like maybe a football player or something, did not give a fuck about golf. And like one of his first swings, he swung so hard that the club head broke off. And I was like, oh my God, what's gonna happen now? And he was like, oh, he just picked it up and he threw it in the bag. He was like, yeah, just throw that in there. I'm like, all right, cool. This guy doesn't care. But any other golfer would have been devastating,
Yeah.
devastated by it.
Was that the
breaking
only
up
cool
a
thing he
club.
did? Because that seems like a pretty lame day.
That's golf for you. I was just relieved there was someone. Yeah, I was just relieved there was someone who didn't give a shit. Like everyone else was very uptight.
Right.
Yeah. Everyone else is like, I can feel you raising your eyebrows next to me. Could you not?
Yeah. I'm about to swing. Don't raise your eyebrows.
Like,
But
did you get good sleep last night? Your aura's off.
There was so my friend has the best story out of our short experience as a golf caddy. So he had a guy who asked for the 9 and on the golf clubs they show you a 6. There's a 6 iron and then there's a 9 iron. The guy asked for the 9 iron. Well, there's a line on because if you look at the club upside down, it could be a 6. You look at it the other way, it could be a 9. So there's
classic
a line.
Uno card situation.
Yeah.
There's a solution to this.
So you got to look at the line. If the line is under the 6, I'm not even explaining this right. If the line, you could tell if it's a 6, it's underneath it. There's a 9, it's above the little circle, right?
Yeah.
Confusing. Not even explaining this right. My friend obviously did not know how to read the little 6 and the 9. And in golf, a 6 will hit it way farther than a 9. Okay. So this guy wanted the 9 so he could hit the ball to the green. My friend gave him the 6. The guy did not bother to check and confirm that it was a 9. And he drove that ball way past the green.
It's what you pay a caddy for,
Yeah. So he hit like a car or something in the parking lot.
Was he
He hit
mad?
the Caddyshack that I was in, like still waiting to get chosen. I was like, what was that?
Did he notice, or was he just like, boy, I'm strong?
Oh, he looked back at him and was like, that was the 9. Like he knew that something was off. And
he was like, you fucking 14-year-old.
Yeah, like you just hired a 14-year-old
right
to dig shit out of a golf bag for you. Like, what did you expect?
Seriously.
Like, what can a 14-year-old do? Like what would you actually trust a 14-year-old to follow through on?
Just to grow
Unsupervised.
minimal armpit hair. That's about it.
That's
all you're good for.
The best part about that job was like they have like a meal. It's called the caddy combo, and you get like a sandwich and some chips and a Gatorade. So that's when me and my friend talk about that to this day. We're always like, remember the caddy combo?
It was good. Or is it just because you were super fucking hot and
It was warm. It
Anything.
was summertime.
I have a question about this Caddyshack where you sit and wait. Like, what, did you bring a book or did you do anything? Like,
At that time, I did not read, so there was no television, no video games. Yeah, you just man, and I didn't even have a phone back then. What was I doing?
You
Was I
just standing there.
I think I was just listening to the other caddies have conversations.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you forget when you're a kid that, like, especially, pre-phones, you really didn't have anything better to do. And, like, listening to them have conversations would be somewhat interesting, especially if you are even just remotely considering trying to be them in any way. Like, these people do make more money than me. Maybe I should listen to what they say.
Yeah, or at the very least, just wanting to hear something so that you could pretend it was your thought later on in the day,
Right. I still remember a conversation that one of them had. I wish it was interesting. I'm sorry, but it helps me remember when I had that job, because he was talking about a basketball, like an NBA finals game, and Allen Iverson said something to Kobe Bryant, and it was like after the first game when the Lakers beat the 76ers. So if you look up when did the Lakers play the 76ers, game 1 of the NBA finals, that's when I was the day before.
That's when you were sitting right in that shack.
The day after that game, I was in the shack.
Yeah.
You were shacking.
Great sports memories,
That's the only way I remember time.
I remember when I listened to two people talk about a game.
That's all
it was a good job. It was a good job. Would you do it for like a summer?
Yeah, it was one summer, and I never got fired or quit. You don't have to go if you don't want to. You just show up if you want to get work. So I think at some point I was like, I'm waiting here all day for nothing, and my 14-year-old mind realized it wasn't worth it. So it must have been really bad.
It's pretty bad. I mean, you didn't even have, like, obviously, like, it's not like you increased your friends there. Did you play golf?
No.
Prior to this, it was literally just like your friend was like, I've heard about this. Let's try.
Yeah, it was his idea, and he he got me the interview. I guess I don't even remember if there was an interview. They're like, you got legs. You're a kid. Come on.
Yeah, great.
Wait, so when you just bailed, when you just stopped going, did you tell your friend or did you just ghost him too?
Man, I wish I could just get him on the phone right now and ask that. I don't. No, I didn't ghost my friend. My friend, I don't know how long he made it. I mean, he was giving people the wrong clubs.
Right. I mean, you were in the shack together.
Seriously.
Yeah.
That dark, shadowy shack.
So you just stopped going, and we're just like, I'll just do literally anything else and make the same amount of money.
Yeah, I think my next job, I was 15 and I worked at an amusement park. It was Jogga Lake, and then it became Six Flags. But yeah, that was my next solid job.
Were you there during the transition between whatever lake and Six Flags?
Yeah, it was Jogga Lake, like your local neighborhood amusement park, and then
everyone loves that local neighborhood amusement park.
Yeah, well, all right, now we're just going too deep here. This podcast is going to be way too long.
It's a podcast about jobs. These are your jobs.
It was a Jogga Lake / and they had animals, so it also had a SeaWorld in Ohio, which is strange, right?
Yeah, that seems bad.
But we had animals my first year I was there, and I actually sold stuffed animals at the Sea Lion and Otter show.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
In Ohio.
Right.
I don't know what they did with them in the winter, but they were there in the summer.
Yeah, they kept them prisoners. What they did. They put them in a different sort of shack.
Yeah.
So you just sold plush otters and
walked up and down a stadium stairs.
This is what you did after the caddy thing?
After the caddy thing.
You really leveled up as far as teenage jobs go.
Yeah, that was a good job.
Because I would guess you got to go into the park for free at other times, or just catch a coaster on the way home after you clocked out.
You have ride nights for employees when the park closes. You have an employee ride night, and then they have like 1 or 2 rides open, and then you get to not stand in line and ride them.
Yeah, I would say that a theme park is a pretty decent place for a teenage job because it's on like you might do some of the same things you do in other teenage jobs. Like you could work at the burger place in the theme park or whatever. But like in the end, you also get to ride roller coasters sometimes for free.
Yeah.
And every job's got to have its perks, and that is a huge level up to go to like I can ride roller coasters sometimes. When your last job was, oh, I guess they gave me a Gatorade today.
yeah. The caddy combo is 10% off.
Here's a kind of open bag of Lay's potato chips.
We hate you too.
Yeah.
That job was a great job. I worked there for 4 years. I eventually became the employee event supervisor. So
Perfect.
like,
Oh wow.
I got paid to host ride nights, and we went to like Niagara Falls. We went to Cedar Point, which is like the greatest amusement park in the world.
Yeah, Cedar Point. I've heard of Cedar Point for sure.
But yeah, year one, I was selling stuffed animals, and I worked with a guy, a Polish guy. We get a lot of students from Europe that would come over and like make a ton of money in the US and then send it over to where they're from and like just cash out. They do it for like a few months. But yeah, his name was Sorrow, and he would always destroy me. You know, he was like probably in his 20s.
Okay.
And I'm like, I don't understand how you're selling more stuffed animals than me. We're doing the exact same thing. I'm watching you. We're in the same freaking place. And so one day I was like, Sorrow, how do you do it? How do you sell more than me every freaking time? And he's like, I run. I was like, okay, all right, that's it. He said, I run. That's all he said. I run.
I run.
And so it's just he just like gave you like half a poem to figure out, and you're like,
It was a riddle.
was he actually running like
no, but he was trying to tell me like I bust my ass. I fucking move. I move. And I was just like, I didn't realize that I was moving slow. I didn't know. I was just anybody? You guys good? But he was up there.
Just chucking stuffed animal lions or whatever.
He's like, that's $10.
Yeah. I'd be like, if someone was told me that their name was Sorrow in like a scary accent, I'd probably just buy something from them just to get him to leave me alone. So
yeah, maybe that's why.
Yeah, they're afraid he's gonna put a curse on him or something.
They're like, this little 15-year-old American boy, he's good.
Yeah. Well, I'd be like, I bought a stuffed animal from a guy named Agony today.
But I'll tell you what, he was working hard.
He was run.
Yeah, man, to work there for 4 years again, like I just, I know this podcast is not about like actionable takeaways, but I will say again, like if you post COVID, and if you're a teen listening to this, which what are you doing, by the way? You're this bitter already. But like there's a ton of room for growth, and all of the growth is for the most part going to be fun-ish or fun adjacent at a theme park.
Yeah. The key is to get the right department. All right.
Yeah.
So you don't want to get stuck in rides unless you really just want to stare at nothing all day. Because in rides, you're not doing a damn thing except
start and stop.
Lap bars, pressing the button.
Lap bars, dude.
Making sure people don't fly off the roller coaster.
Fuck that shit.
That is a job that, like, to be in control of roller coasters where it's like, mostly boring, and then occasionally there's a chance someone dies.
The absolute worst thing that could possibly happen.
It's just like, like most of my days I'm just bored out of my fucking mind, but then on Thursday this guy got his head cut off. Buckle him in right.
They're like, why did you let him die? You're like, I'm 15. I just needed a job for the summer.
I just got here on Earth. I mean,
there's a girl in another place I like, and I got this job here because I thought she'd like me. Just like, trying to,
And that was a dead man on my conscience.
Amusement park
carried out like Al Capone.
Amusement park love is real, man. The hookups,
yeah, it's an insular community.
Yeah. Park services, that's just with a broom and a dustpan. You're gonna be on your feet all day walking around. You're gonna be like, that's like litter patrol.
Yeah.
The Craigslist ad, except 40 hours.
And you're just picking up again like the smallest amount of trash because it's supposed to look nice.
You get the little picker, which is kind of fun.
It's like the
game.
What
department did you start in?
Retail. So that little job I had was like a side project from like the director of human resources. So like, I guess he had this surplus of stuffed animals that he wanted to get rid of. So he did that little side project, and I got hired for that. So then the next year that whole thing was scrapped, and then I became human resources. So then I was filling paperwork out for people, checking their IDs.
You want to
the
get into
I-9s.
admin is really
I was
'cause-
I was in there printing badges and uniforms, giving the uniforms out. It
yeah,
was
because you don't want to be in food service either, you know.
food service. Yeah, no. You don't want to do that yet. The one you want to do is games. That's the one you want to do because you get to stand outside in your booth. You get to see all sorts of different people and talk to them, and
Right.
they don't have to like leave. If you're like in admissions, you give them the ticket. They got to get out of there.
Sure.
There's a line, right?
Yeah.
Games, you can talk to people. You can play a little fun game. You know, guess their weight, shoot a basket, throw a dart. It's fun. It's
Games,
fun.
baby.
Yeah.
Games. Pro tips with Ben Palmer.
Okay, Ben. So we'll call those are your first couple of jobs. What would you say is the worst job you've ever had?
So I thought about this for a while because I've had some like blue collar jobs. You know, I've been like a plumber's apprentice. I've been an electrician's apprentice. I've done landscaping. Like some of those jobs were brutal and difficult, but I think maybe one of the most mentally challenging ones was my job as a typist, which I'm not sure. I thought maybe there's less people that have jobs as a typist. So
Well, I guess what exactly does a typist entail?
Yeah.
you want to know what a typist does?
I mean, do I? The way you said that.
I mean, I'm kind of scared now.
Yeah.
Let me
You know,
tell
I
you
get
the dark world of typists.
Yeah. It's like the lowest level of Illuminati.
It's not what you think it is.
You just give people out of parking tickets.
It's
So
really exactly what you think it is.
it's just
but
typing.
It's typing. Yeah.
for
There's a
what?
professional word for it is transcriptionist, but I've had transcriptionist jobs before, but this job in particular the title was typist. So I guess they didn't want to give you that official title.
Yeah. No, that sounds miserable as fuck if you're just transcribing shit all the time.
So here's why it was miserable. In this particular job, the other transcription jobs usually you can do from home. You can do them on your own time. But this one, you had to go in there on their shift.
Boom.
And so the whole time you're listening to somebody and then typing what they say. So there's no
terrible.
time to ever talk to anybody, and you can't hear anybody else talk because you have to be listening.
Correct.
And you have to type and look at what you're typing to make sure you don't type it wrong. And then like I went to the bathroom a few times, and then I got like some messages saying like, hey, you never reported in your spreadsheet that you went to the bathroom. So like basically they made me, every time I left my desk, I had to note it. Like what I left my desk, even to go to the bathroom. Like, okay, I left my desk. I went to the bathroom. It had to be in my spreadsheet. So like some of the shifts were short. You could do a 4 hour and 8 hour, but even for the 4 hour, I find that they were agonizingly long because you can't do anything else except type.
You're absolutely right. This is one of those jobs, like a call center job or whatever, where like there is no such thing other than the job itself. You know, like like if you aren't doing the job, they know and they do not like it.
Don't like it. They're monitoring you 24/7. Yeah. And like you said, there's no other, you can't talk to anybody. Like that's what keeps us sane in a lot of these jobs, is having someone else to talk to.
Okay. So I have a question. So, cause you're typing everything. So on the one hand, did you ever get like you hear something real weird and you just can't even react to it? You know, like in the middle, the guy's just like, and then I shot him. And you're just like you like perk up for a second, but
you don't even get to type
can't
wow.
even, you can't even say anything to that. Or like, that's my first question. Second question is, if you have to type everything, including when you take a piss, where do you type where you take a piss at? Is there a separate like other computer or whatever you're working on?
When you get back from taking your piss, you have to say time that I went to the bathroom, 2:24 p.m. to 2:29 p.m. It has to be marked.
There's like a timesheet thing.
Yeah, it's your timesheet, and it has to account for every single minute.
Man, that sucks so much, asshole.
Jesus.
It was a real bummer. I'm like, damn, this job's rough. At first, I'm like, wow, this is gonna be so easy. I'm a really fast typer, and like I was like, I can knock this shit out, right? But like they don't have any incentive for how much you get done, because I was looking at the other typers' speeds. Like you can look at their scores, and I'm like, I'm blowing everyone out, but it doesn't matter. I can't take a break and let them catch up. It's like, no, you have to be typing.
Ah, damn.
Fuck.
Yeah. So you might as well coast.
Hold on a second. What was your
Right.
word per minute here?
I at my tops I could do 120 words per minute.
God damn, that's fast.
Jeez.
Yeah, I was-
That's super fast. Like I'm
Uh-huh,
trying right now to get better at typing, and I'm at like best case scenario 90 words a minute when I'm in the fucking
good.
zone.
Yeah, me, I'm relying more and more on emojis. I'm not good at typing it. So I don't
That'd
know.
be interesting. You turn in your work for the day, and it's just a yellow sheet of them, just all.
Yeah. And then he said this, and it's just like that weird. It's just the devil one, like the one he's like the devil, but he's
smiley
smiling.
devil?
Yeah.
Well, so what were you transcribing? Are you transcribing stuff live, or are you?
No, it was all pre-recorded, and so it was all. The company was called, I don't care. It was called EBSCO Research, and
Fucking EBSCO.
basically, if you have something done on your house, any sort of contract work, like plumber, carpenter, painter, they call you after they go and they say, hey, how did they do? And then they give you a little interview. And then it was my job to type that. And then they take that, what I typed, and put it into like a little report. And then there's a magazine that they published every month that was like, here's your like scouting report for the construction people, and this and that. Kind of like consumer reports.
Like an internal document.
Yeah.
That you're transcribing for them.
And you asked like if anything crazy, nothing crazy. It was always just boring conversation.
Yeah.
But there was one guy so you listen to the different voices that they interview people, right?
Yeah.
But you never see them, you just hear them. But
sure.
I think I like saw him walk by down the hall one day or something. So I remember what he looked like, and he was like the best interviewer. I'm like, this guy's good. Like he's good with people. And then like one time I saw him at another job that I worked at. He came in to eat, and I was like a busser, and I was like, hey man, I used to type your voice like all the time. And he was pretty like creeped out by that.
Yeah,
but
she was.
But like later on, I think he lost being creepy about it, because I was like, man, he was kind of a jerk to me about that. But I was like, I thought you were good. I was trying to give you a compliment. Like I love typing you.
Hey man, I love typing you.
But
come join my cuddle team.
I think we're still friends. Like I'm friends with one of the voices that I type. All right. So I feel like I'm talking way too much, but I am really excited to talk about my jobs. I don't know why. There's more to this story. There's more to how this job ended.
We're going to get to that. My question is, how did you get into it? Like where were you in your life? You know what I mean? Were you like,
I was depressed. I was definitely depressed.
Okay.
I was going through my first heartbreak, and that was also what made it torturous, because I was just like,
she worked there and you had to type her voice all the time.
She was the voice.
She was saying everything she didn't like about you anymore.
And I had to type it.
She would interview people about home repairs. And like, I used to have this boyfriend who just sucked absolute balls.
Oh my God. Not to circle it back around to my ex-boyfriend, but can I just bring something else up?
He was never nice to my mom. I mean, he was nice, but he was never nice enough.
But he wasn't real nice,
But maybe I'll get back with him one day.
If he's listening, is he listening?
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Type this.
I'll get back with him if he can type really fast. I will say that.
Above
119 words a minute.
Yeah, 121 minimum.
So you're going through a breakup. So then my guess is you're like what, like 18, 20?
Oh, wow, it's getting more sad.
All right, so 27.
I was 25, I think.
25,
maybe
okay.
26.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a long way to go for your first heartbreak. Like
that's a hard fall. That's a hard fall.
It really is.
Because if you fall at 18, I fell at 18 and was like, all right, well, no one cares whether you're in, an emotional wreck or not. I don't pay bills,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't handle. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. If I would have done that at 18, if I would have made it, or maybe I would have been better. I was never one of those people that had like girlfriends. So it was really, really like an extreme situation for me. So like normal people wouldn't understand, but I'm like, I was crying at my desk while I'm trying to type. So I tried listen.
That's great.
So I tried to tell them that, but I couldn't tell them, listen, like I think maybe I did. I'm going through a hard time, but I did.
Yeah, you did.
I sat down. I sat down with the boss. I sat down with the boss and I talked to them and said, listen, I'm going through a hard time. I'm pretty depressed, and I'm, And they said, you know what, just take as much time as you need. Make sure you take care of yourself. And I was like, okay.
Which is like
That's
a
nice.
nothing statement.
I think that's nice.
Yeah.
It's like,
It was
I mean,
nice.
it's better than like, oh man, that's so. Can you actually type that out? And then while you're at it, type the rest of the show. We tell you to type.
No, you're right. You're right. That's far more
They're like, type
emotionally
that out,
Mhm.
print it up, and then crumple it and throw it away.
Yeah.
You're like all crying. They're like forcing your hands on the keyboard. And like, come on.
They're just like you're just like pouring like a bong of like Red Bull into you. Like, we'll
Yeah.
figure this out.
Just like,
They're like,
trying to get your puppy to pee on the pad. Like, come right here is where you need to be.
They're like Sean Connery. Pound the keys. Pound the keys, dog. What's that? It was the Finding Forrester. Remember that?
I haven't seen Finding Forrester. I've not seen a lot of movies.
There's a classic line. He goes, pound the keys, but he's like a pianist.
Yeah. So you're weeping at your desk
Yes.
Do you, when you go
regularly? I'm just
Because I
guessing.
can't, here's the problem. I can't get my mind off of the girl because I have to listen. And then when you listen, your mind, like you can't escape your thoughts. They're just there. I can't go and like do anything fun. I can't talk to anybody. I'm just literally there in my little cubicle with just me
you're
and
not
my
like in the
thoughts.
zone, making some coffee drinks or whatever, or like dealing with a long line of customers that are kind of like really snapping you out of it all the time. You are literally just like, it's like a little prison.
Yeah, exactly. And just listening to this recording and, like my, whatever part of the brain is where you can just do stuff and you're not even like there. That's parts taking care of the typing. And then the other parts like with
it's just like you're
sadness.
a piece of fucking
yeah,
shit.
that's
You'll
what I
never
was going to
find
ask. That's what I was going to ask you is if you're like in a flow state while you're typing,
Yes.
so that it frees up your mind to just get its ass kicked by itself. Or whatever.
Yes. So that's what it was. It was just an entire day of getting the ass kicked. And I couldn't escape it. I could not escape it.
How long did it take you to get over this break? How long were you in the shits of this that you're talking about now?
Like a year.
Oh man,
Yeah,
a year of being in that mental prison.
This wasn't the only job I cried at.
Okay. Oh, there's a list of jobs I've cried at.
So you had another job at the time, or you transitioned and cried at that other job too?
There was another job I remember crying at. It was at Publix, and I lost that job.
Man.
I could not. I just left one day. I just left. I was like, I'm just crying. And I remember like stacking water in the back. I was the water guy, just throwing 24 packs up on the shelves and just sobbing. And like the Pepsi guy was like next to me and just not saying a word. I'm like, I know the Pepsi guy's got to be like, man, I don't know what's going on with this dude.
This is over the same girl? Is this the same?
Yeah.
Man, so you, and we'll get into how you left the typing job, but you you started a new job crying. Like did you cry on the first day?
I think typing job might have been, no, typing job was before. Man, I went through, I don't even remember the timeline that much.
It's all blurred.
No, I didn't. Okay. It must've been after. Damn, it's hard.
My guess is that is that you
grocery
worked
store
at
job I
Publix
think came first. Yeah.
And
I
because
left.
You just couldn't physically do it. You're like, I need a job I can cry at.
And in that job, I was talking to everybody about what I was going through. Like I swear, like the deli, there was like a guy in the deli who was like the nicest guy. He was like an experienced older guy giving me good tips. And then there was this lady, I'll never forget her name, was Miss Cheryl. She took me into the office just telling me like, you need to get it together. You've been missing a lot of work. Like, she's like, there's nothing out there but death. Like you're going to lose your job and you're going to be poor and you're going to die.
There's nothing out there but death.
That's what she said to me. Yeah.
But death. About your breakup. She's like,
about Publix is what she said it about.
She saw you wiping your face with slices of turkey in the deli, okay? Wiping your tears.
And they're already so wet. They're not going to dry tears. They're just so wet in the deli.
She didn't know what I was going through. She knew I was just missing work. She's like, you got to get it together. You're going to lose your job, because they liked me and they're like, you're a good guy, but you're fucking this up. Then there was another person and she was in the warehouse and she was like, man, Ben, you're so different now. Like, are you okay? What's going on? She was concerned about me. And then I had like my best friend there and he was like, we were my boys. Like that grocery store, so I just left that one. I left. And then they were nice and they said, we're going to go our separate ways. But with this typing job, so what was it? One weekend, my older brother, he was going on a vacation in Florida to a beach. Him and his friends like rented a house.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, he asked me if I wanted to come. I'm like, absolutely, I would love to come. That's exactly what I need. I'm going through a hard time. I need a beach vacation.
I need to soak my tears in salt water.
Just walk into the sea.
I need to drown somewhere in the ocean.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, perfect. Mwah. I'll come on the beach.
Oh, is it Labor Day? Let's go.
So I took some time off for work, maybe a few days. It was maybe like a Wednesday or a Thursday, and it went through the weekend. And you know, when I got there, I realized that I had no real ride back to go back to work when work started on Monday, and everyone else was staying for like the rest of the week. So I called in sick again, and because I missed like the bus that was going to go back to Atlanta where the job was, the beaches in Florida. And I called him again and I told him, hey, I'm depressed. I can't make it to work. So then when I get back, they email me or they call me and they let me go.
Okay.
Because they saw pictures I was posting of the beach on Facebook.
Oh man.
They were like, we didn't know you were going on vacation. We thought you were taking the time you needed, not going to the beach. But that was
the time I needed.
That was the time I needed.
You don't get to name the time I needed or follow me on Facebook.
We thought you were crying in bed.
Now you're crying at the beach?
They found a loophole. They're like, oh, you didn't fill the proper vacation request form.
That's bullshit.
So therefore,
what the fuck is that?
We're terminating you. Yeah. Yeah.
And
that
I bet you might have.
Did
you cry after that?
No, I was happy. That probably like bounced me back. I was like, all right. It's like that feeling you get when you get fired. You feel like you got in trouble, but then you're like, wait a second, I am absolutely free. I don't have to go to work tomorrow.
And like I still everything about my life is still the same. Like I still have the same skin and everything. You know, like
that is what I think when I get fired. Yeah, I have the same
skin. Hey, look at the skin. It's still mine.
It is a little bit like getting yelled at by a ghost that just disappears all of a sudden. You're like, oh, right. I don't have to give a shit about that.
I'm not your problem anymore, and you're not mine.
I did a comedy contest like a year later at some bar, and I won the contest. I got first place, and people in the audience came up and shook my hand afterwards. And one of the people that shook my hand and said, "Good job," she gave me like a look and then walked away. And I was like, why did she just look at me like that? And then it clicked. She was the one who fired me. That was my boss.
Son of a bitch.
Fuck.
That's right. I'm out here winning comedy contests now. Yeah.
I'm gonna be all right.
She's like, congratulations on the $50.
Yeah.
I cry in the green room now.
Yeah. Say Ben won a competition with his jokes about being so sad about a
Yeah.
Just crying all the way through him on stage.
Oh man, I love the crying at work. Love it.
Well, then you'll love Ben because he did a lot of it.
I definitely did my share. I definitely did.
It's great. It's just great because I mean that's also the only like. I'm sorry. I'm just thinking about you. Like first thing I was thinking, I was like, well, it's easy to cry at your desk, you know, because like you're alone or whatever. But you cried moving water bottles. So you know, it's just when it happens, it happens.
Yeah, I couldn't stop it.
I
remember. I'm like, I asked the assistant store manager. I'm like, am I crazy? And he's like,
yeah,
no, but you're close.
Okay, it'd be funny. Like you're just getting all kinds of jobs. Like you're like the guy who like is on the gondola and you're crying there. Crying construction worker, crying police officer.
Oh, that's just crying, Ben. That's all crying, Palmer.
They pull up your record and it's just got like terminated crying.
Just terminated for crying.
You were crying in a hot air balloon.
You actually trained dolphins.
Like the couple that was getting engaged was disturbed because you were
yeah. You shouldn't cry when you're skydiving.
We're professional. We're certified. We can't have crying. Well, Ben, we always make sure to ask 3 questions so we make sure we cover it before we end the podcast. Number 1 is when were you done and how did you quit? Obviously, we know the answer because you went to the beach and then you posted on Facebook.
That's so funny. That's
And
so
they were
fucked
just
up.
like-
That's so funny.
This guy's not fucking sad at all.
Fucking liar.
They're like, we saw you smiling on the beach.
Like if you had instead, because this is probably a couple years. I'm just trying to do the math. Oh, this is like not far off from like the MySpace era. Like if you had instead had just posted selfies on Facebook that were like MySpace style, or like from above, and you just have like dark makeup on, they would have been like, "Oh man, he's really going through it. I hope he's all right. I can't wait for him to get back to work." But since they found out that you went to the beach, they were just like, "This fucking piece of shit."
Let me ask you real quick, just because I've been through breakups at that time, you know, like that, like I understand. So were you posting these pictures hoping she'd see them?
No, I don't think it was. No, I was.
You were just posting.
Was that the
pictures from
time
beach?
where you just said, yeah, with Facebook, or you just throw
You just
everything
do a
out
photo
there?
dump of like
Oh, you're just throwing
36
all up there?
photos. You just like
Yeah, it's like, this is my life. And
Yeah.
my brother was taking pictures, and we're making videos. We're all having a good time.
Sure.
yeah, it was just
Oh,
a good
man.
time at the beach. Okay. So yeah. So I feel like that's pretty clear. Number 2 is, what's one good thing you took from that very bad job?
Don't trust. Don't trust the old take your time. Take your time for yourself.
Yeah, the old tale as old as time. A boss tells you to take your time and feel better.
Take all the time you need. Don't trust that, because
Yeah,
that
no.
doesn't mean what you think it means.
It's not open for interpretation. I mean, like, to be fair, like, absolutely 100% fuck them
Yeah.
for firing you,
that's
because
such a
like if
fuck
someone tells you
move.
take all the time you need, like, you don't get to tell me what that time looks like. You know what I
Right.
mean? So, fuck you.
Yeah.
And
And then also,
don't trust your
get
supervisor.
off of my Facebook page.
Yeah, what is
Yeah.
it?
That was like the first time I was like, wow, because Facebook was still newish, and it's like,
Yeah.
damn, you can get fired for putting stuff on Facebook. You
I
guys are
think-
crossing the boundaries from
Yeah, I
like
wanna
fun
say
and-
That's exactly. Yeah.
that we've kind of only a little bit crossed over the plane. I think people still get fired for stuff like that for sure, but I think it happens less. Like something as simple as that, I would say that would probably not happen. But I
That
don't
makes-
know.
that's what made
I worked
me-
with somewhere where someone got in big trouble for just like commenting on a thread where people were talking shit about the like owners or whatever, and like
Yeah.
that person got suspended for like fucking 2 weeks. So it still happens all the time.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I take back
now it's
everything I
understood.
said.
But now it's understood, but back then it was like, oh, I didn't know this could happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But that was when it was like, oh, well, if you guys are going to come on my shit, I don't give a fuck about you then. I'm going to harass the hell out of you little corporations and, doing the pranks and like the customer service. Like, well, if you're going to go on my shit and fire me, then I'm going to go on your page and mess with you.
Was that kind of, I mean, part of the, was that this wasn't the genesis of that, was it?
Part of it? It's part of
Oh.
it. That was
It
always
was
my
like, if social
fallback.
media has this power, then I would like to wield it for evil too.
Yeah.
It's like, to me, it was like they're invading my little fun territory. It's like, well, if you're going to come into the little fun territory, then you better be ready to have some fun,
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, you have had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, then, question 3, it's somewhat related. It's not about the bad job. We've been a pandemic, as I'm sure you're aware. How's that been going? What do you think about? I mean, like, did you have to pivot as things got started? Like, how's the whole process of like being alone in a room all the time gone for you?
Well, I'm lucky I have a wife now.
That's cool.
That helps. And I have 3 cats. That helps.
So cool.
As far as work goes, I was driving for Uber and Lyft till the day like before they were like, you can't, you gotta stay home.
Yeah.
I was ready to go to work. I was like, I'm working again. My wife's like, you can't go to work tomorrow.
There's
Just
a
driving
literal
people
shutdown.
around in cars.
Correct.
Like my last couple of days were like, so like, did you hear how it spreads? Like someone told me if you drink a lot of water, it'll prevent it from getting it. Like that's what it was like. Who knows what the hell this is?
Yeah, like 2 people completely unmasked in a car with the windows up, just being like, hey, how is it back there?
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm not scared of the virus, it's not gonna kill me.
Yeah.
And now we've learned a few things.
A couple things. We learned a couple things.
The transition has been it's been good. I mean, it's been the best thing that's ever happened in my career. And I always feel like weird saying that or guilty, but it really is, because I needed the time to like work on stuff. and not be always, you know, I was the little mouse in the wheel, and I got to step outside of the wheel for a little bit, and that helped me
With
invest
your
in
buff ass mouse legs. All that work you put in. Yeah.
I was crying in the wheel, just spinning.
Yeah. For sure.
I was this crying mouse in the wheel, and they lifted me out of it, and they said, "Here, you got some time. You're not going to get fired. You're not going to get evicted for a little bit, and go ahead and work on your stuff." And so that's, in that sense, it's been the best thing.
And you like started, just to be clear, you know, you started working more on your Palmer trolls, like like what specifically do you work more on? Did you work more on just like doing more of it, creating more clips, or like or all of it, or what?
Well, I had been doing,
you've been doing it for a long time.
Shows. Right. Like you'd see me at the shows I'd bring the projector in and the projector screen, and then do like a 5-minute set. And then, I'd do, shows where people would come, and I'd do a longer set or whatever, do some festivals. But I had this material. I felt like people hadn't really, they see it at the show, then they go home, and then that's the last I see of them, and vice versa.
There's no way for them to engage with you. Yeah.
Right. And then it's like, it's pretty anonymous. Like no one even knows about what I'm doing.
Right. So and you were doing it a lot. I mean, like, and for a long time. I mean, just to be clear, go ahead.
I'd been doing a show like that for years, and then moved to LA to work on it. And then I had gotten a green screen before the pandemic, but I'd just been working and not really focused on the creative stuff as much, going to open mics after I get off work. And then when the pandemic happened, I was like, okay, I'm going to make some videos with this green screen and put them on TikTok. I don't know how this is going to work, if people are going to like it, because it's like on Facebook, and these people on TikTok are like 12 years old. Like, I don't know if they're going to give two shits about this. So, but I had told myself when I heard about TikTok, I'm like, I got to get on there, because when Vine came out, I wasn't ready for it. Like as a comedian, I'm like, and I missed the little wave. I'm like, this is another wave. I got to get this wave. So, so then I made videos with the green screen. I don't know. I hadn't thought about this until now, but when you have the open mics and the stages, that's all you care about. Right. But then when those were taken away, it was like, oh, well, now I got to do like videos, I guess. Right.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much how it happened. And I just started making videos, doing the material that I had worked on for years, and like jokes that I knew worked, but then making them into like videos,
turning them into a video,
below a green wall, recording, and then putting screenshots or whatever. Yeah.
Because I think it's super. I don't know. It's like I think it's super important to like point out, like, you've had a lot of success on TikTok, and I remember, we talked kind of early in the pandemic because I was doing this dumbass Zoom show, and it was fun. And you were on it a couple times, and you're like, yeah, I'm making a video every day, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty sweet. But like, as you say, like, oh, I missed the Vine thing, I missed the whatever thing, and part of it like came from the fact that you have this like almost like massive library of experience and work to be able to like, oh, I know how to do this now, like, and you did it all the time, and like, nobody was seeing it, but I mean, like, you had like you had a lot of rice to put into the silo,
And the audiences, they gave me the blueprint. They're laughing at it, and they it's like when you have a joke, it works, and you do it and you do it and you do it. Like, well, it's in your brain, you have it down. So like when I made the video, I do it just like there's an audience there.
Correct.
So they helped. I mean, they helped
get the timing right.
Yeah, they helped prepare me for that, and I'd be like, is this going to work? Like, no, I know exactly how this worked on stage. I'm going to do it exactly like that, and then put it on the internet.
Right. Because another thing that's, I've like watched visually these evolve over time, like either at the mics or at the shows or online. And it's like, I remember there were times where you had more visually on the screen than was necessary for like to read it to us. Right. And then like, you're like, oh, no, it's just this top comment. Then it's the second comment. You know what I mean? Like, not giving away any punchlines. It's just it's been interesting to watch it evolve, but it's evolved from that experience of putting it in front of audiences and like timing it for them.
Yeah, for sure.
It's wild.
Yeah. You've seen how when it doesn't work too. It's just like stand up. It's like you have jokes that work and then don't work. You go up there with the screen. It's not like Immunity. You can go up there with a screen and bomb. You're like, what is this jumbled mess of a presentation you're showing us?
Correct. Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's not even, same thing goes for a joke that has no visual element. Like sometimes the joke doesn't work because no one gets the no one got the setup, so they can't get the punchline. Sometimes the punchline sucks, right? Like sometimes the end sucks, but sometimes it's just like, oh, it wasn't super clear as to what this person was doing with this company or whatever.
Totally.
Or they couldn't read it, like.
Yeah, clarity is important. Yeah, if there's like it's too small and you can't see it. The same thing with like jokes. If the audience isn't sure what you're trying to say, if there's anything that might throw it off, or there's like a little wrench in there, then it's like it's harder for you to laugh if you're like questioning things.
Yeah, if you're having to think too hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I know we've kind of delved into joke theory a little bit, but I just think it's been fascinating to watch.
Well, it's the opposite of cry theory. There's cry theory.
Cry theory is super muddy. It's just sort of like, well, you could do it at work or you could do it at home, whatever.
Stacking water, typing, whatever you want. You can cry.
Do it on Facebook if you have to. Well, yeah, the last question is really, where can be found on the internet? If you'd like to be found, where are you?
Palmer. So the last name is Palmer, like Ben Palmer. So like Palmer, Arnold Palmer, like the drink, iced tea, lemonade. Palmer Trolls is like the social media on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube and all that. And there's Facebook pages called Hope This Helps. There's a group, Hope This Helps, because back in the day that was like that became like the name of the page because it was like the signature after you say something passive aggressive. Say Hope This Helps, common thing. But yeah, those are pretty much it. Palmer Trolls, Ben Palmer.
Great, and we'll have those links in the show notes. So if you're watching this on YouTube, it's down below. And if you're listening, I think you just swipe up. At least you do on Apple Podcasts. You just swipe up, and the notes will show up. So if you want to go straight to the YouTube or straight to the TikTok, you just literally click that, and there you go.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. This is
awesome.
Cathartic.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta let go of some of those demons. Sorrow won't, but you can.
Sorrow. All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, fuck this place.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, you can write a review. Leave us 5 stars. Or you can text the podcast. That's 470-223-5627. That's 470-223-5627. And seriously, you should check out Ben Palmer's TikTok. It's a pretty good time. Okay, bye for now.